Hello, this is Susie, and this is episode number 4. I am in this listening program with my coach, Mark Butler, and we have this group of coaches. We get together and we listen to each other. It's really organic. One of us will start talking, and then the rest of us just listen. And every once in a while, someone will have a burning question, and we ask the question. And I have to say that we are getting to know each other really well and really fast. And I think we're all feeling kind of heard. And it's really refreshing to not be coaching each other, to just be getting to know each other, to just be getting to hear their people's what's on their mind, their life, their history. Anyway, so I've also been doing these listening projects with people that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I've offered these listening sessions, and several people have signed up, and I've had these 1 hour long listening sessions, and I love it so much. I love the connection I feel with people. I'm getting to know people. I'm seeing the brilliance of the people in my community that I didn't know their histories and the things that they've done and the places they've traveled to and the wisdom and knowledge that they carry where I just didn't know. I've never bothered to ask and I've never bothered to listen. So I I'm thinking I'm going to create a listening room. And I don't know if it'll be weekly, probably it'll be either bi-weekly or monthly, that'll just be free that we can all get together and hold space for each other and listen to our stories. And I think everyone really does have a story they want to tell and they want to be heard. And these days, there's not a whole lot of listening going on. There's a lot of yelling and there's a lot of telling people what to do and how to do it, but there's not a whole lot of listenings. So I think Mark is on to something. I'm really excited about it. So I'll keep you posted on that. The other thing I wanted to do today is read my story. I did post it in print on Substack, but I wanted to read it just because I just want to. So I'm going to. So when I was 21 years old, I was hired by the California Highway Patrol and I dropped out of college. And it was quite a big decision for me to drop out of college. And I think the Highway Patrol was kind of a great way for me to not feel so bad about it. So, anyway, here's the story. I hope you like it. It was about 5 a.m., and it was Hell Week at the CHP Academy. We were running in formation in the dark, each of us gripping a department-issued flashlight. It was probably mile 3 when I moaned loudly, wanting to stop or at least slow down. The PT, or the physical training instructor, shouted at the group demanding to know who was making all the noise. Thankfully, no one signaled me out, and we kept running. We were singing a recall song, the other day, but it wasn't that. It was To the Stomp of Our Feet. 2 old ladies lying in bed. One rolled over to the other and said, I want to be your highway patrolman. I want to go to East LA. Anyone who dropped out of that hell run had to turn in their CHP emblemed t-shirt with the blue collar and replace it with a plain white tee. They would have to wear that tee to PT for the next month or two, and those cadets were called marshmallows. I didn't want to be a marshmallow, so I endured. I'm not exactly sure why I thought I'd make a good highway patrol officer. I never really considered whether it suited my personality. I don't believe I actually knew myself enough to know if it had. The CHP was just a way to feel less guilty about dropping out of college. Also, I'd always been physically fit, fast, and strong, and I was gay. And being a cop seemed like an excellent job for a fit, and an excellent job for a fast, fit lesbian. Of course, the uniform. I loved it. The CHP had the women cadets start training 1 week before the men. During that week, we learned how to change tires, tuck in our shirts so the buttons aligned with our belts, and we learned how to have a commanding presence. And most importantly, we learned not to file a complaint against any other officer. They said if we filed a complaint, it would make women look weak and our lives would be hell. We were told to fit in and keep our mouths shut. The 6-month academy was brutal. I learned a lot, mostly about myself. I discovered I was tough. I could do really hard things. I could fight and wrestle and jump off high dives, shoot in the freezing rain, do 75 push-ups in a row. I could handle a car on the skid bend, drive fast, high-speed chases, and stick with things that felt impossible. I was always tired and I slept on top of my blankets because I was terrible at making my bed. It took so much effort and it never looked ready for inspection. We weren't allowed to have music in our rooms, but my alarm clock had a tape player/radio. Every night I illegally listened to George Winston until I fell asleep. My roommate was the only African American in the class of 60. She didn't last long. They fired her for a simple infraction, and I was sad to see her go. During our training, we had 3 ride-alongs with officers in the field. My first ride-along was a graveyard shift in central Los Angeles. I was in the back seat observing when we spotted 4 black teenagers walking along a busy 4-lane roadway. The officers stopped them, pushed them up against the patrol car, searched them, and roughed them up. One of the officers grabbed a ball cap off of one of the kids' heads and threw it into traffic. As we left the scene, I looked back and saw that poor kid scrambling through traffic to rescue his hat. I never told anyone about the abuse. I was warned not to. I graduated with Cadet Training Class 487, badge number 2132101. Out of 21 possible location assignments in California, I got my 21st choice, East Los Angeles. Not a single cadet wanted East LA. The field training officers there had a reputation for hazing rookies, taking pride in making them quit. I learned the hazing system on my first day in briefing. New hires sat in the front, and the seasoned officers sat in the back, like junior high school where the cool kids took over the rear of the bus. As officers and the sergeant trickled in, a petition created by Lyndon LaRousse circulated the room. It called for people who tested positive of AIDS to be quarantined. A couple of years earlier, I'd spent time volunteering for the Inland AIDS Project, taking care of men whose families had abandoned them, sitting with them while they died. I knew what fear and ignorance looked like. Everyone else signed the petition. I didn't. That petition was the beginning of the end of my CHP career. I saw that I didn't like these men, and they didn't want me there. That first shift started at 6 a.m., and by 7:30, my field training officer and I were dispatched to a jumper. A young man had leapt from an overpass and been hit by a truck on his way down. We were first on the scene. I'll spare you the details, but I finally understood where the phrase "knock your socks off" came from, although one of his socks still had a foot in it. It wasn't the jumper that got me that morning. It was his screaming, crying family looking down on us from the overpass. The scene cleared quickly, and back in the patrol car, my FTO asked if I was hungry. Sure, I said, trying not to show weakness. On the way to breakfast, we picked up a drunk guy walking along the freeway. We arrested him and took him to the sheriff's. He was so drunk, so filthy, and so smelly of pee and vomit that if anything could have killed my appetite, it was him. Later that day, we recovered a stolen vehicle and toured the city. After my first shift, I returned to my yellow Tioga motorhome, Old Yeller. It was parked in a campground beside a giant green electrical plant at Huntington Beach. I had no phone, no internet, obviously, and no friends in the area. It was just me. As tough as I thought I was that first day, the petition, the jumper, the drunk, the horrendously loud 8-lane highways, I was scared, lonely, and in over my head with no one to talk to. I took a run on the beach and ran until I was tired enough to sleep. The next morning, while still dark, I drove to East LA and did it again. I wasn't prepared to admit that I was in over my head, and the hazing continued. Once driving on a 4-lane freeway, my FTO jerked the steering wheel out of my hands and sent us sliding across all 4 lanes onto the shoulder. Another time, breaking up a fight between 2 drunks, I hit one of them with my PR-24, my baton. so hard across the back I thought I might have broken his spine. My FTO yelled and cussed at me constantly. I would get so stressed I wouldn't know where I was, and then he would yell and cuss at me for that. I didn't have a single friend in that office. I was the only officer with blonde hair. I was 21 years old, and I was miserable. The biggest relief of my life was when, after 3 months of hell, I quit. I knew deep down that if I stayed, it was only a matter of time before I was going to get hurt, killed, or emotionally broken beyond repair. I don't regret any of my experiences, but I do regret letting my parents down. My dad, a recently retired CHP officer, had proudly pinned my badge during the academy graduation. My parents were really proud of me, and once again, I felt like a disappointment. Looking back on that time, I see a naive and innocent girl trying to find her way in a world that wasn't made for her. I knew I was different. I needed to find my people, and I didn't know where to look. It took many more years before I realized that strength doesn't come from being tough on the outside. It comes from within, and being a woman didn't mean I wasn't strong. I feel fortunate that I had the guts to disappoint my family and quit a job that took me 6 months to train for. Today, I'm quite proud of myself. I can honestly say that the academy training has served me many times over during the years, and I still know how to tuck in my shirt and change a tire. So I write these letters from love. It's Elizabeth Gilbert's, or Lizzie Gilbert's project that she has on Substack. And every day we write a letter from love. And sometimes we ask love what we should know, and sometimes we ask love more specific questions. Today I just said, "Dear love, what would you have me know today?" This is what love said. "Hello, love. We see your mind is crowded today. Focus feels hard to come by. And we notice something. The idea of posting these letters has you taking credit for what pours through you, hoping it's good enough to post, worried that it's not. What if you let love flow through you without worrying about whether it's helpful or meaningful or liked? These letters are for you, your private conversation with love. There's no need to show, explain, or claim them. When you worry about resonance and meaning, your sweet ego steps in. Set her gently aside. Let love write through you. Trust that love will never leave you without words. It's a practice, like meditation, a practice of letting go, believing, listening, showing up. You're doing beautifully. Fear may block you, ego may block you, but love never will. Love will always lead you towards what your heart desires. You've trusted your instincts before. Now we ask that you dive a little deeper. Love is no longer in the stands cheering. We are on the sidelines now, coaching you. Quiet your mind daily. Pay attention to the visions you receive. They're real. They're love. And we are so excited that you are open to receiving. You're doing so well, sweetness. Keep going. Love, love." Oh, so thank you so much for listening. Yeah, I really appreciate you being here, and please subscribe so the channel gets noticed, and let me know your letters from love or your stories. If you want to come on my podcast and tell a story, I would love to have you. Once again, this is Susie Ruth signing off. Have a great night, or day, or morning.
Thunder and news hits me like a snowball striking my face and shattering, covering me in fine powdery mist and mixing in with my tears. I'm 57 and I could be 7 years old, 'cause I will never be able to comprehend the expansiveness of what I just learned. That you have disappeared. You have been released. You are flecks of light. You are mist. Somewhere spinning round the sun, circling the moon, traveling through time, you are missed. Walking through unfamiliar streets, and I'm shaking unfamiliar hands. I'm hearing unfamiliar laughs and lovely language I don't understand. It's late October in Copenhagen. The skies are gray, the snow is falling. I see my breath outside, I'm freezing. I'm motionless in disbelief that you have disappeared. You have been released. You are flecks of light, you are missed. Somewhere spinning round the sun, circling the moon, traveling through time, you are missed.